In this exercise, I'm going to show you how to annotate an image by adding file info. Now, this may seem like sort of a techie topic, something that we're getting into a little too early, but it's a really great idea to do it early. When you're shooting your photographs, there's always the chance that they're going to get out there into the larger world. Whether you push them out there by posting them to, say, Flickr or some other file sharing site, or whether you just email them to friends or you send them off to clients, in any of those cases, they're liable to get into other people's hands. And when they do, you want those people to know where your image came from so that if these are people of goodwill, they can get in touch with you to ask you permission to use your photographs and so on. And here's how that works. Notice that I have all four of those images from Tom Young open on screen here. And I've actually taken the time to annotate these images. I'm going to switch over to youngcouple.jpg here. And I'm going to go up to the File menu, and I'm going to choose this command right there, File Info, which has a big keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-Alt-I, Command-Shift-Option-I. So regardless of platform, you just kind of mash your fist down in the lower left corner of the keyboard, and then you press the I key for Info. And I have to admit that I am actually responsible for this keyboard shortcut because I petitioned Adobe to make a keyboard shortcut for this command. It's a little involved, but it makes sense, I think. And it brings up this whopping big file info dialog box. It has multiple panels, as you can see right here. And you can find out, for example, by clicking on camera data, you can find out what kind of camera was used to capture this image, a Sony DSCR1. For example, and the aperture and all sorts of additional information. We can find out that the flash fired. So there's just tons and tons of information here that can be garnered inside of this file info dialog box. We want to stick here inside of description because that's where we can add copyright and author information. And you can see that I've gone ahead and said that the file number, because this file comes from the iStockPhoto.com image library, I've gone ahead and added the file number. I've gone ahead and credited the author. I've gone ahead and included his original description of the image. I've marked the image as copyrighted. Notice that. You can click on this option right here and choose copyrighted from this pop-up menu. Now, by default, it's set to unknown. You would want to presumably go ahead and mark it copyrighted. And to enter a copyright symbol like we have right there, let me move back up. In order to enter that little copyright symbol, on the Mac, all you have to do is press Option G. Option G for the copyright symbol. Why it's Option G, golly, I don't know, but it is. On a PC, it's a little more complicated. So you need a keyboard that has a keypad, a numerical keypad on the right side of the keyboard. Then you need to press and hold the Alt key. So press that key, keep it down, and dial in this sequence of numbers on the keypad. So don't press all the keys at once. Dial in this sequence. So you dial in 0169, has to be on the keypad, and then release the Alt key. So once again, in case that was a little difficult to track, press and hold Alt 0169 on the keypad, then release the Alt key. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those extra copyright symbols. I've also gone ahead and included a URL, that is a web address. And this is this fellow's handle, Green Pimp, at iStockPhoto.com. So that will take you to Tom Green's landing page if you go ahead and click on Go to URL. So you really make it convenient for people to look you up if you include your web address. All right, now I have one image. I'll go ahead and move this out of the way here. I've got one image, Beautiful Eyes, that I haven't fully annotated. All the other ones are completely annotated. Beautiful Eyes is not. And I could go ahead and re-enter all this information if I wanted to, or I could save off a template. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to this option. It's not super intuitive, but it allows you to go ahead and save off all of the file info for a specific photographer, for example. You click on this down pointing arrowhead. Don't click on the word import. Click on the down pointing arrowhead and choose export. And then I'm going to go ahead and export this information, and I'll allow it to go to wherever Photoshop thinks it should be, inside of this metadata templates folder that's inside this XMP folder, etc., etc. Don't care about that. That's up to Photoshop. I'm just going to go ahead and call this Green Pimp. And that may seem like an odd choice, but that's his choice. That's his handle at iStockPhoto.com. And as an art director, that's how I keep track of these photographers. All right, so I'll go ahead and call it that, then click Save. And now I'll click Cancel because I didn't really do anything inside this dialog box. Then I'll switch over to beautifuleyes.jpg by clicking on its tab. Let's go back up to the File menu, choose the File Info command. And notice that I've gone ahead and included a document title because this image has a unique file number. And I've also included the unique description for this image. But otherwise, I haven't included any annotations, including the copyright status is still set to unknown. All right, now I'll go over here to this option, and I'll click on the down pointing arrowhead. And I could choose Import and then locate a file and open it up. Or notice that I've got Green Pimp on my list now. All I have to do is click on it. Now, Photoshop is going to ask me, hey, I went ahead and saved document title info and description info. This is Photoshop saying I did this. What do you want to do about this? Do you want to overwrite that information, or do you want to keep the original metadata but append matching properties from template? And that's what I want to go ahead and do. So I'm going to keep what I got and then just fill in the stuff I'm missing. And I'll click OK. And sure enough, brunette looking, because she's looking at us, I guess, brunette looking is still retained. The unique file number is retained, but now I also have the author, the copyright status, the copyright notice, and the URL. And I'll go ahead and click OK in order to update this image. And that's how you assign file info to your images, including copyright, authorship, and URL information here inside Photoshop.